Before we implemented ServiceNow ITBM, we didn't have a single system that allowed us to look at all of our projects and the state of all of those projects across the organisation. So we looked at a number of tools, and ServiceNow ITBM functionality met all of our requirements. In addition, it was already a tool that was in use within Fujitsu, so it was about extending that tool to deliver the ITBM functionality.
It was challenging because it was a new system and new ways of working, but we identified the benefits we wanted to achieve on behalf of our stakeholders and clearly communicated this from the beginning, so everyone understood why the change was happening. Creating a user-friendly system that took in the requirements of users at all levels was critical. So we put in place a program team with several subject matter experts from all countries to define the requirements, and we developed the product around that team with continuous piloting of new features. So this really helped adoption from the outset because they were a part of the change rather than the change being forced on them.
Although we have a lot of knowledge of ServiceNow within Fujitsu, most of the users were new to the tool or certainly new to the ITBM modules, so training was essential. And we started with online instructor-led training because it was during the pandemic, but we've since moved to on-demand training. But one of the biggest areas was actually about the business change. We were changing people's working practices and their processes, and also how we would then have visibility of projects that before people in the organisation didn't. So managing that business change was the key to making it a success. When we initially started looking at implementing ITBM, we ran a number of workshops that looked at personas, about people's journey through the tool and how they would use it and how it would support them and deal with their issues that they had within the business. We included people from all sorts of roles, from project control people to program directors, and all that feedback meant that we could develop something that was fit for purpose and delivered what they needed. But we continue that, so we have user groups, subject matter experts, and it's the input from them and their feedback which drives how we develop the tool and how we develop more functionality and how we use it and the processes that surround it.
This tool has some fantastic features, but it's not something you can impose all in one go. You have to pick your battles. So, for example, if you need better visibility of all projects in progress, start with that, and then look to improve, for example, reporting later. There is only so much change your people can take on while they're doing the day job, so consider the bigger picture and being able to define the benefits for the individuals, not just the organisation, is key. The one big lesson we learned is that the need for quality data has to be driven from the exec level. So Fujitsu country managers are now using the BI dashboards with data from Levo as part of their monthly reviews with Japan. And this has driven quality data and adoption back into the project teams. Improved visibility has transformed the way we work, allowing us to de-risk projects and address any problems earlier. So, for example, we can make sure project managers signalling an issue have the support they need to avoid overruns. The visibility has also given us a better understanding of why projects succeed or fail, so we can work with other areas of the business to put in place the controls to improve our project outcomes. And we can see emerging trends and use them to inform our governance and workforce strategies. Finally, I think as a customer-centric organisation, it's helped us free up our project managers so they can spend their time where it matters most with our customers, rather than having to spend time navigating lots of different reporting systems.
ServiceNow do 2 major releases a year, which are full of great new functionality for us to use, but we're also looking at integration with other systems and automating processes. So 2 great examples of this are looking at automating the production of statement of work documents and also extracting PowerPoint reports from all the data held within ServiceNow ITBM for internal use and to present to customers.